do we have time to talk about other things we've been reading, or do we want to pick maybe our top best and bottom worst? One
Yeah, let's do top one of best and the
top
worst.
best and worst that we've read since we last talked, and then
Yeah, when did we last talk? Can you tell me this so I can?
I don't even remember. Like a month and a half ago ish, something. I don't know.
Okay, I'm missing my list. And you want to go first? You have your list?
I do have my list. So let me see. I do want to say that I am stuck. I have been stuck at 10% of Operation Bounce House for the last week. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to actually start with a book. I'm going to start with my worst that I've read because it's going to be controversial yet brave. Theo of Golden. I hard DNF'd this book. I even returned it to the bookstore.
Whoa. Not much. You heard it here first, evangelicals. She didn't like Theo of Golden.
So I got this book because I had been hearing about it everywhere. I heard someone on a podcast talking about it. And I'm always down for a cozy, sweet, feel good. Let's remind ourselves of the better angels of our nature book. I'm always down for that. So I got it. I started reading it. And within a couple of chapters, I don't understand. I am very confused. Why is this good? Why are people liking this? It's wooden. It's cliched and cardboard. It's the worst ways that you can use types in a book are being used here. Everyone only is ever one thing. And so I did not like it. I returned it. And I hated doing it because I was returning it to an indie bookstore in the area, but they gave me store credit so I can go back. But yeah, I can't say that Theo of Golden was anywhere near my top because it was a hard DNF.
Do you think that, a lot of Christians are really liking it right now?
It felt patronizing and smug, and perhaps that explains a lot.
A lot of people felt that way. Remember The Shack when it came out? A lot of people really loved that. And I don't know what to say.
I know. So I'm going to briefly mention two of my top books that I really enjoyed. One, I did read There Is No Anti-Memetics Division by Quantum. Love that. Love that.
Cool concept, right?
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of the book called The Rook by Daniel O'Malley in the sense that they both have a female protagonist who her memory is not reliable and yet she has to save the day. And so this one was really interesting. It just kept looping back on itself. I thought it was a really cool, well done. I kept thinking like, how are you going to tell a story about something that doesn't exist? And then we did.
Yeah. And then every time I'd be like, I'm like, oh no, we're in a loop, aren't we? Oh crap. And when she realized what's happening.
Yeah. Now talk about a horror movie. That would be a really good horror movie. And then the other book that I read was called This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me by Ilona Andrews. They're one of my favorite. It's a husband and wife duo. They're one of my favorite. They've written one of my absolute favorite series. It's the kind of series that just becomes a comfort read when I don't know what else to read. And so this one, I waited for ages for it to come available at the library. And when I started reading it, it was about the first 30% of the book. I was like, oh no, oh man, it was hard. It was a slog. It was a struggle. And I was like, had they finally jumped the shark? Is this going to be the book where they just published something that wasn't ready? And then I happened to read a couple of reviews and they were like, no, the first 30% is a struggle, but we get through it and it gets better. And it got so much better and it ended. And I'm so excited for the rest of the series. But if you like fantasy, if you like displaced characters, if you like Portal Isekai, this has a lot of stuff going on and it's a pretty cool book. And I do recommend This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me by Ilona Andrews. Over to you.
Okay.
Been reading.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm looking at my list. I think where I stopped last time, I think I know. I think I talked about Trad Wife, right?
Yes.
Last time.
Okay,
Sure, I did.
This whole long review of Yesteryear, which is another Trad Wife book, and I'm just like, this is a bonkers book.
Okay, Yesteryear is on my list, and I obviously, yes. Okay. So after that, now we're into, I think, what I haven't talked about yet. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think my favorite, actually, I had some real slogs. So my actual favorite, I think, in all of this was, I did a couple memoirs, but my favorite, I think, was Alison Stoner, Adjusted, Despite Literally Everything, was probably my favorite that I read in this last little chunk. It was really, she's the girl, she was in Step Up, the later movies, and then she was on that Mike Super Short show and in Camp Rock. But like where I remember her from, because those were a little bit after me, was she was in the Missy Elliott videos. She was like a dancer. So I grew up as a dancer. I remember seeing all her stuff and just really liking her. I remember her being a staple. And she goes through her life as a child star and some of the things that are going on there. And she's doing a lot of trauma-informed stuff these days on the mental health space. So a lot of the things that she's able to draw out from a mental health perspective are really interesting in that book. She reads her own memoir. I'm a big fan of audio narrated or memoirs narrated by the author when it can be done well.
Yeah.
There are some that cannot.
Yeah.
But this one, in this case, she did an excellent job narrating it. And it was just really good. And it was really cool to see the different ways the different spaces around control, whether it was, and trigger warning, she suffers a lot of her eating disorder in the book.
Okay.
So do be aware of that. Anybody who's listening who that's a trigger for them, but she shares a lot about that in the book, and she shares a little bit about an assault incident as well, but also the ways that that religion, in particular evangelicalism, shaped some of the ways that she was navigating and self-understanding at the time, and just how vulnerable these young kids are as they're creating their identities and not really growing up as in their normal childhood. So that was from my favorite.
Okay.
And then my least favorite, I read a lot of lame stuff this year, but my least favorite probably is gonna go to, I'm not gonna say my least favorite. I'm gonna say the one that triggered me the most is probably the right word, which is the Abby Jimenez book, The Night We Met. Because everybody, it's the newest one, everybody was crapping on this book on the internet. Everyone was crapping on this book, and they're like, trigger warning. Emotional cheating happens in this book. And I'm like, wow, Abby really must have gone off like the deep end, getting crazy. The love triangle really triggered me. I should know at this point that I need to not listen to anybody who reviews any contemporary romance in their opinion. Because most of them, the things that they're like, this is great, I'm like, this is unhealthy and toxic. And it's a surefire way to not end up in a long-term stable relationship with somebody. The whole premise of the book, spoilers ahead if you haven't read this one and you're an Abby Jimenez fan, is the love triangle is between what is functionally a man baby, okay, and this girl, and then the man baby's friend, okay? And the girl comes from, it opens, her mom is absolutely insufferable, not for daughter. Her dad isn't even in the picture. Why, you asked? Oh, because he pulled credit cards in her name and ruined her credit. And so that's why she can't go to college or get a good job or stuck living with her deadbeat mom. That's why. So all that to say, it's the world we're coming into. And then we're like, she ends up with this guy, right? Oh, shocker. And later on in the book, it turns out that the guy she's been in a relationship with, that they're accusing her of emotionally cheating on her with, is literally a closet drunk and doesn't tell her that he's a high-functioning alcoholic. She walks into his house. He's everywhere. She's having to clean up all of this stuff. And then afterward, he doesn't even talk about it with her. They're like all going up to the mountains, and she's going to go separately from him. And he's, hey, boy. And he's her to clean up all of his vomit. Oh my gosh. Okay. And they're like, the second she figures out, oh, he's lying to me, he is not a good guy, and he has work to do on himself, she breaks up with him. And the whole time she's been having this really good, as you do, right? And then she's been having this great relational connection with his best friend this whole time, who it's very clear they're going to end up together, right? But in my mind, I'm like, if you call, first of all, you guys are the toxic people that call having a meaningful conversation with somebody emotional cheating. That's crazy. Stop projecting, number one. Number two, there was no emotional cheating. There was no emotional cheating. This guy, you have to be in a relationship. He's never shown up as a real person at this point. They've dated for what, 6 to 9 months at this point, and then she realizes he's been lying this whole time. It's done. She puts a boundary on it, and then she pursues a further relationship with this guy that she clearly has some sort of, he's responsible. He pays his own bills. It's just absolutely crazy. So the whole time, everybody who hated this book, I'm like, I don't want to be friends with any of you. You're the toxic ones, not me. I laid the most upset review, probably like low-key shaming the readers. I'm like, guys, we need to have a come to Jesus moment about this book. This guy is why we have a male loneliness epidemic right now. This is the guy.
Yep.
This is him. Oh, here's the best part though. Here's the best part. I have to just say this. The mom of the man-child boy owned a restaurant, and this girl was working there. And this girl's, this is the other thing. She's deathly allergic to, I didn't even get to the crazy. I didn't even get to the crazy with her allergy. She's deathly allergic to peanuts and nuts. So after they break up, she comes back down and I've got to get out of the situation. She goes to work more hours, and she goes to the restaurant, and she's, can I get more hours? And the mom, actually, let me show you our new menu. And she slides it over, and it's walnut pancakes, peanut butter, French toast. And I can't work and serve her. I guess if you can't do the responsibilities of the job, you're going to have to leave, or I have to protect my son. I'm like, and this is why crazy reviewers defending literally any of this. This girl dodged the biggest bullet I've ever seen in my life. And you guys are like, the emotional cheating. I'm like, the what? The literal external support from the psychotic, toxic dyad that's going on here between mother and son that come on, everybody. So that was it was my least favorite, but I actually liked the book.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And, but it was certainly the most triggering.
It was the context around it.
Yeah, it was the reviewers. The reviewers, they ruined it for me.
I'm sorry. Let's see. Can we shift it to a positive note? What are you reading? What's one book you're reading right now?
Okay, great question. I'm currently reading. I am not a lot right now, actually, now that I'm looking. I am almost done with Enshittification by Cory Doctorow. Highly recommend that book. I just think it's so great. It's basically about, the whole concept is that there's a middle person, and the person in the middle of the business to consumer relationship is creating a set of conditions that make the experience worse for the business and worse for the consumer. So I think Amazon, right?
Sure.
Think Google.
Yeah.
And the ways that they're trying to extract capital from consumers and businesses alike. So, and the ways that they basically purposefully make things worse to make more money. So that book is really good right now. And, my son and I are listening to a thriller. I'm not loving it right now. And for all the same reasons that I typically get upset about thrillers. It's called It's Not Her by Married Cubica. It's fine.
Yeah.
There's a 17-year-old girl with a 17-year-old point of view.
Okay.
And there's 2 points of view, but the 17-year-old girl she's truly upsetting me and triggering me on a level that is everything she says. She's, my parents, as she's going on vacation, my parents are just absolute worst. And I'm like, girlfriend, are you getting a free vacation?
Yeah. Are you going away not on your own bag?
Anyway, what about you?
So If it's not clear, Rachel and I read wildly, widely, chaotically, and whatever we feel like reading at the moment. So we might be talking about a couple of books, but there are probably 10 or 20 books behind those books.
Yeah, I didn't get into all the
Yeah.
stuff. And
So
can I show you one quick thing? I'm so sorry. I just show you, I did purchase 3 books, which I think I showed you. Lincoln and the Bardo,
nice.
Northwoods. I am planning on going on the Great
Okay, I've
American
seen that
Novel.
one. Yeah.
And then this, your favorite scary movie, How the Scream Films Rewrote the Rules of Horror.
Did I ever send you? There was a sweatshirt that I saw at a boutique here a couple of years ago where it was that scary, The Mask, but it was in like red, pink, and white on the phone, and the caption was like, "No, you hang up."
But
so I am reading. I had read this book. I'd read them a while ago, and I was like, let me see if they've held up in my memory, if they're still good. It's Greta Helsing series by Vivian Shaw. And Greta Helsing is a descendant of Abraham Van Helsing, and she is a doctor to monsters in London. Yeah, so ghouls and mummies and banshees and vampires and angels and demons and all that stuff. So it's all in there. And I had read the first 3 books, and I did not realize that there was a 4th book and then a novella. So I'm in the middle of the 3rd book, and I just got the other 2 so I can finish rounding that out. So I'm enjoying that. It's very well written. And then I'm also reading this book called Landmarks by Robert Macfarlane. And he's like a nature writer in the UK. And he's basically talking about how words, like how words shape how you experience a place, and how words are tied to place, and how what the loss of words can do as far as like conservation, preservation, your interaction with the natural world. And I learned my new favorite word. It is wanty-tump, and it means molehill. So it is a word. Okay, so don't make a mountain out of a wanty-tump. And then this one I mentioned before, but since we hopefully have a few minutes, and this was gifted to me. This is not sponsored, but it's called Sabbath Gospel. And someone I know worked on this book, and they did a good job. This is super good. It's a new narrative of time, rest, and the work of the church. So I've just started this. I'm not even sure I've fully been able to grasp all of the moves they're making yet in terms of how they're reframing, but I really love how they're talking about rest as a place, as embodied and placement, and rest. They're making some moves that I'm really curious to see how they're going to work it out over the rest of the book. So thank you very much for this one.
Yes, I was very tired of books that were like, go take a vacation and you'll feel rested. So when we talked about this book, I just was really thrilled with. Yeah, they're just really robust. It's a lot of cross-discipline stuff, which I think is really needed. And I think you'll really enjoy it just because of the sort of Charles Taylor-esque kind of vibes. I think that really eat good exegetical and theological work.
So that's us. That's us for now. All right. Thank you all for listening. Who knows when we'll be back? Chaos. All right. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.